said so long, carry on, 'cause the devil wants to take me for a ride.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my peers and putting suckers in fear, making it rain down like a monsoon, putting cum in your ear. I don't know how the rest of that song goes. I also really debated whether I was going to open the podcast with Mama Said Knock You Out by LL Cool J, which you just heard, or, well, except for that cum in the ear part, I kind of, remixed it, or Slim Shit, what's Eminem's song? Guess Who's Back? Back Again. I don't remember the name. It doesn't matter. I'm back. It's been a while, hasn't it? Hasn't it been a little while? I just wanted to say, as I open up this podcast, thanks a lot to a lot of people reached out to me and said, hey, you haven't recorded in a while. Well, even though I hadn't recorded in some months, I've had people mention to me, hey, I've been waiting. Or, hey, I didn't realize, I realized that I had some dedicated listeners. Sometimes you just feel like you're a crazy man screaming into a mic, recording yourself in your parlor like a fucking psychopath. But I just wanted you to know I really appreciate it. I really do. I had a lot of... It's been a while, okay? I forgot how to fucking work my microphone. Hold on, is that where I want it? That's where I... Right there. Okay. So guys, I'm rusty. This is a rusty job, which is exactly what I call my hand jobs. Because I got a ginger bush. You get it? Rusty job. Fuck you. I like that. Anyway. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for everyone who's listened over the couple of years. I really, really appreciate it. A lot has gone on. I know it hasn't been, it's been like a quarter, a yearly quarter, but a lot has happened. I mean, Andrew Tate. I missed the entire rise and fall of Andrew Tate. The whole thing. Kanye, Kyrie, Trump is back. He's running again. Elon took over Twitter. Balenciaga just did a photo shoot where they had a little girl hold a bear wearing S&M gear, and then for some reason, just as a little how do you do, they put a piece of paper in there from a child molestation court case in the U.S. Don't know how anyone found that, but anyway, that's happened. FTX, giant pyramid scheme that was. Wow. I don't even know where to start. I get some questions from listeners. Well, why don't I just start with me? Okay, so if you're listening, you're aware of who I am and you know everything about me. So what happened is this. My dad died. And it was not fun. It was not a fun experience. To be blunt, this is exactly what happened, because my last recording was just as I was beginning a trip to Ecuador. What happened is I stopped in Colombia to meet my girlfriend, and then as I was booking the final details of my Ecuador trip, which had been a pain in the ass. I had delayed because there were civil revolts in Ecuador. I get a call from my brother, and I had a weird feeling, and even he thought, hey, what if it just happens while Mike's gone? And of course, right in the beginning of my trip, he goes, hey, Dad died. And I go, okay. And I had to find a way I had to cancel everything. They don't really refund these things. Thankfully, I hadn't booked a lot of stuff. I was flying by the seat of my pants, but I lost some of the stuff I reserved. Anyway, that was the least of my worries. I had to get back to the United States, and they had to hold off on services because I was gone, and I had to get home. And thankfully, he was being cremated, so it's not like we had, Popsicle Dad just waiting. It's not like they have my dad in a freezer, and every now and then someone will go in and check and be like, "Oh shit, he's thawing out." He's not. They didn't freeze him like they did with communist heads of states, like they did with Mao Zedong. Put him in a little Chinese ice cube. Oh, what is it? What do they do with the Pope where they embalm him and you walk by and you give him a whiff and you go, "Oh, that's some good Pope. Can't even smell the death." I think they did something like that for Stalin too. Anyway, did they? I should know this. I watched The Death of Stalin. Anyway, on my way back, I got COVID. Bad. Now, this is probably the 4th time I've had it. 2 times for certain. The 3rd one, I'm pretty sure it was COVID. It felt like it. This time was rough. I got it the day before I flew out. I started getting sick. And I'm like, thankfully, a month before they stopped the COVID testing for coming back to the U.S. because I wouldn't have been able to come home for at least 2 weeks. Anyway, I think this is funny. This is one of those situations where something bad happens and then something really shitty happens. Like, someone gave you a shit sundae and then they took a little copy wobble, like one of those little, little pebble poops right on top is like a cherry on top. And when I say I got sick, I mean, it was different. It was a different strain of COVID than any of the ones I had before because I would cough. But the thing that really got me was a sore throat. I would wake up in the middle of the night like my throat was bleeding. I thought I had strep. It was excruciating. And of course, I read the new strain is all about your throat. And I was bedridden. I have never felt lethargy like this. And I don't know if all these tick bites I've been getting hiking added to it. Maybe I got Lyme disease. But anyway, I got back and then we had to push out the services again because I was sick. And that's not a fun feeling when you're just sitting in bed and you can't go outside and my mother's immunocompromised and I got home and I couldn't hug my ma and say it's going to be okay. I couldn't be around anyone. So I'm in the same house as her. I'm just on the 1st floor and I can't even, say, "Hey, this is awful. I love you." I mean, I did, but, like through a fucking doorway. So it was not good for me. And when something like that happens, when you lose someone close, you lose a family member, all the shit that you're supposed to do, your work, your whatever, you just kind of go, fuck it. I got this life thing going on. And all my creativity went away. Not that I just didn't do it, but I hit a wall. I hit a wall. And on top of being sick, I started being like, I just lost a bunch of money on this trip I didn't take. So I started working again. I finally got better. We finally could do the services almost 2 weeks later. And by then, everyone would show, oh my God, dude, there's something about a wake. There's just something about having to stand there and a parade of people come through and go, "Hey, I'm sorry for your loss." And people you've never met who knew your parent when they were kids come through. And then you get some guy, "Hey, it wasn't in the paper." It's just weird. He's sitting there talking to my mother going, "Yeah, it's just, why wasn't it in the paper? I knew Jimmy from back in the day. Why wasn't it in the paper?" And I'm going, and she goes, "Well, Michael was in another country and then he came home with COVID, so we couldn't do it. Because I couldn't shake everyone's hands with COVID, in the wake situation." And everyone goes, and I'm like, I want to judo chop you right to the throat right now, dude. It's not about you fucking dick. It's not about you and you having a heart. It's about this family in front of you. Anyway, I got back to work eventually. My creative juices were done. I lost my fucking mojo. I was like Austin Powers in Austin Powers Lost His Mojo. I lost my mojo. I lost my fucking mojo, man. I lost my confidence. I lost my manhood. I started eating bad. I gained 15 pounds. I went back to work. I started working like a dog in my union job, because I was focused on my other stuff. I didn't. I stopped focusing on my creativity. I just need to make money. I'm just going to worry about this. This is all I'm going to worry about. And I worked. I got sick again. I started working crazy hours and crazy shifts, and I got sick. It came back. And I had that same can't leave bed COVID all over again. And I'm going to be honest with you. The name of this podcast is Get Your Act Together. I couldn't. I couldn't. I prided myself on my entire life on the fact that when life knocks me out, beats my ass, and I hit the pad, I hit the ring floor, and the ref gets in my face and starts counting off 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure why that's Count Chocula. 4, 5. You're a bitch. I always got up. I was always up saying, "Hit me again, motherfucker." And this time, I hit the floor, and I wasn't getting up. And he was counting. And he was at 9, and then he hit 10. And I was doing everything mentally and physically to get back up, and my legs wouldn't work. Physically and metaphorically, I just couldn't. I couldn't get back up. Whatever was in me that got me up again it was gone. It just wasn't there. And it was terrifying. It was one of the scariest things I've ever fucking dealt with in my life. It was terrifying. I thought I was done. I thought I lost my confidence. I thought I lost my manhood. I remember sometimes I talk to my girl. You ever talk to a girl and she tells you, "I don't feel sexy," right? She goes, I remember asking my girl for some pictures. She goes, "Look, I'm just having a rough time and I don't feel sexy." And I go, "What the fuck does that mean? What do you mean you don't feel sexy? I think you're sexy, and I'm used to dating women with horrible self-image issues that I can base off of my approval of them." So, didn't work on her. And she goes, "I don't feel sexy." And then I understood. As a man, I didn't feel manly. I didn't feel funny. I didn't feel confident. I didn't feel creative. I stopped making social media posts. Okay? Dude, when you lose someone you love, the idea of sitting down as a man and making a TikTok, it's kind of fucking ridiculous. You just go, fuck it, dude. Unless this is my full-time job, fuck it. I can't be bothered. I stopped taking shows. I stopped performing stand-up. I just hit it. And what I have to tell you is, I'm back, bitches. I'm fucking back. I'm back, okay? The ref did like how they used to do in way back when, in the old-timey boxing days. They'd count to 30. And that's what he did for me. He gave me a 30 count, and at 28, I got up. I fucking pulled down my pants. I looked at my dick, and I said, "Do you want to do this?" And he said, "What else am I going to do?" And I said, "We're fucking back, baby." Welcome to the Mike Bain redemption arc part of the story. I'll get into some other things in a second. I don't want don't want to start this podcast off on a somber note, but you already did, Mike, so you fucked it up. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know where I've been. I'll get into all this stuff about death. You learn a lot. You do. There's just a release when you lose someone who's an addict, because they're not suffering anymore. You're not suffering anymore, dealing with their suffering. Because eventually my dad his body caved in from drinking himself to death. And, my mom found him. It was not a fun fucking thing. And, regardless of what you say, you're like, oh man, I couldn't, you overthink everything. You go, wow, I wish I had found him and not my mom, so she didn't have to deal with that. I wish everything was different. All these things, you think them, but there's something happens when you're frustrated with someone, especially when they're an addict, where the anger and the frustration, it just goes away. They're dead. And you don't have to see them anymore for what they were in those last moments of this movie that is their life. You get to see them as they were throughout the entirety. And I got to not see my father anymore simply as a broken, dying ghost of a human being. And I got to see him as the person he was throughout my entire life. You get to look through old photos and you realize, you remember that times were better, that this person is a human, that your parents are people. And I think about, I'm 36. My dad had me at 30. I was 6 years old. I think about what I'm going through. I imagine what he must have been going through with a 6-year-old son and a 3-year-old son. And just trying to fucking make it work. And I had more sympathy for him than I've ever had. Not that I haven't, but it really, And then when you lose someone, there is that hole. You're going to have that time period where you just go, fuck, there's something missing in my life. There's a human being that used to be here, and there's an emptiness. And it takes time. It takes time, dude. It takes time. And trust me, sometimes it just, I talk with my mom sometimes she hears a song and it triggers her. I was in Ecuador. I went back. So I went back, baby. So after just working myself to the bone in my union, and finally I go, I don't want to fucking do this. All right, this feels empty. Everything I'm doing feels empty. I feel empty. I'm Mike Bain without the Mike Bain, motherfucker. Where's my mojo? You know what it felt like? It felt like my life was my dick and my dick couldn't get hard. You know that feeling? You know that feeling when you're just staring at your dick and you're going, come on, buddy. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Fucking, come on. And then you just start fucking beating them and rubbing them. And you're like, fucking get hard, dude. There's a woman here. Like, and you start getting mad at him. But the more you get mad at him, the more he won't get hard. Because now he's under pressure. And he's like, I can't fucking do it. I don't get the blood. You did too much cocaine. You drank too much whiskey. I'm fucking nervous, man. I'm nervous. I don't know what to do, man. I can't get hard. That's how I fucking felt. And then I went back. I went back to Ecuador to do that trip. And then I said, fuck it. I went to Florida with my brother and some friends for Halloween. We went to the theme parks. It was fun. My friend gave me some Molly like at 11 p.m. while we were literally sitting in an alley in Diagon Alley in Harry Potter World in the middle of the night. And he goes, oh, do you want some Molly? And I was like, nah. And my friend do it. He's like, come on, man. It's not that much. It's only 0.1 to 0.15, which it's a big range for fucking Molly, okay? And then he had one capsule that was bigger than the others. He said he took it, and he gave it to me. And he maintains that I got a fucking similar dose. I didn't. Because I've never sweat so much in my fucking life. I didn't wig out. It wasn't that I couldn't handle the fucking, like people were running up in my face with dead clown masks going, ooga booga, motherfucker. And I was just sitting there going, it wasn't paranoia. It was just my body was saying, yo, I can't do this. I hadn't been sleeping well. I had just come off a long 3-month-long trip where it wasn't me just chilling at the beach playing with my dick. A little bit. It was mostly me traveling around a third world country through the mountains by bus. It was a lot of work. And so I had to eventually turn to my brother and go, hey, can you take me home? And he's like, okay. I felt bad. I ruined his night because I couldn't handle my drugs. And I go, dude, I can't. I gave up weed. I think I'm all the way through now, other than hallucinogens. You know what I realized? Bro. So I'm not going to get too into scams, but I'll just say this. This is very much a Southie trip because we scammed our way into not parking at every single park we went to. We didn't pay for parking. I'm not going to blow it up because once you do, everyone does it. I'm not telling you. We also, and I'm not going to get into the details, we pulled some handicap scams, okay? I waited in one single line the entire trip. Okay, so, and here's the thing. It was a lot harder than it used to be because at Disney World, when I went when I was 11, my mother had just gotten sick and she was in a wheelchair and we got to the front of every line. Now, everyone's a fat fucking cunt. They're all in wheelchairs. Dude, holy shit, man. I didn't know Americans could be that fat. I didn't know. I've been learning all this traveling, all this, I'm learning about the world, and you come back and you go to Disney World and you go, I was walking around Epcot, 50% of the people there were in wheelchairs or scooters. So they got rid of all the handicap shit because literally half the fucking park is in a scooter or a wheelchair because it's so fucking fat. Oh my God. Dude, every person walking around that park, you could tell that they don't walk. They were soaked in sweat, just all these big lumbering, just it was like somebody got a bunch of porpoises and walruses and kind of gave them legs and was like, walk around land, you fat fucking aquatic mammals. And dude, there was so many back titties. Oh my God. I mean, some of these back titties was so fat, I honestly wanted to titty fuck them. I've never wanted to titty fuck a back titty before, but I did. That's how fat the fat fucks at Disney World are. They're that fucking fat. People would walk by and it was like staring at a moving lava lamp. It was like a lava lamp. It was like a bad acid trip. It was worse than my Molly experience at Universal's with all the people dressed up. Disney, for some reason, had the fattest of all the fats of all the parks. For some reason. SeaWorld and Busch Gardens had more locals because it was cheaper. A lot of Florida trash. Trash. Universal was more eclectic, but Disney was just fat fucking grown adults with lightsabers. Grown adults wearing Jedi robes and lightsabers. Grown adults at Universal in Harry Potter robes and wands. Grown adults. And you guys make fun of people going to church. Every dude I've met who's like a diehard atheist who makes fun of religion is goes to the church of Marvel, Harry Potter, or Star Wars. They pick one of them every time, because they desperately need some kind of mythology in their life. Oh, I don't go to church. May the force be with you. Suck my dick. All right, go worship a god of death. You don't got to worship Jesus, that fucking pacifist sissy. You know, you don't got to worship Mr. I turn the other cheek. Go worship fucking Maz, Ares. Who is the Tyr? I guess Tyr would be closest. You know, but all the Norse gods are pretty good for that shit. It was something. It was an eye opener. Also, dude, I had to walk through the Epcot around the world thing, and that was, speaking of the World Cup. I was supposed to open with the World Cup, so I wouldn't open with this weird, sad shit, and I could get right into. I'm sorry. The World Cup is happening. I actually like soccer now. I do. I like soccer. I don't care that it can end in 0-0. It's nice that I can just look away from the TV and come back 20 minutes later and the score hasn't changed. I like that. I don't want to have to be in a situation where if I miss something, I don't know what's going on. I come back, I'm watching the game. I go in the other room. Well, I don't go in the other room. I just sit in the chair I'm already in and I just fucking rub one out. And then I look up and I go, hey, 0-0. Okay. Some of them, Spain beat Costa Rica 7-0. Really slammed down the colonial dick on their own old subjects. Oh, man. But, dude, the best part about the World Cup is the shit talking. It's so much more fun. Last night, I just watched a brawl between Welshmen and Englishmen. And in Spain, it was either Spain or the Canary Islands, a bunch of drunk Brits beating the shit out of each other. Okay, and here's the thing. I couldn't even tell which group was which until I had to look up. I saw a couple orange jerseys and I had to look up I was like, because England's team is red, Wales is orange, and they look pretty similar in the color at night when they all look the same. The Welsh and the English being Germanic, the Welsh are Celtic, but the Welsh they've been under the English thumb and sometimes prick for a little too long, so they've come to look and act quite similar. Anyway, dude, look it up. Go online, look up this video. It's fantastic. There's one dude who throws a chair. I don't know what it is with brawls where people always start throwing chairs. Dude grabs a chair, throws it, fucking boom, rifles, hits a guy square in the head, right in his fucking head. And this is the fun part. There's a dude who runs out on the Welsh side in a black t-shirt, runs out, and they're all fucking wasted, man. He's swinging at some younger English, skinnier bloke, and the Englishman hits him, and the guy stumbles back, and he gets helped up, and then by another Welshman, he runs back out, gets bam, knocked over, comes back again, stumbling, and this Welshman who helped him up, not even 20 seconds ago, fucking clobbers him right in the throat. Like he didn't. This is how fucked up these fucking Brits are. This is how drunk the British people are. All right, and then there's a Welshman doing flying kicks, running out behind a car, kicking like a fucking flamingo, and then there's an Englishman with tattoos who takes off his shirt, and he's just standing there, not even fighting the Welsh, just punching himself in the face. If these animals could make an empire, anyone can. Anyone can. Anyone can. I'm not impressed by empire building anymore. I'm just not. I'm not impressed. I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm not impressed. Oh man, just go watch it. It's so fun, and these guys are two countries next to each other. Technically, they're in the UK, so they're countries within a country, and they're fighting each other like this. Oh man, the World Cup has been awesome. Some dude showed up with like a rainbow shirt, and because he knew what he was doing. He knew Qatar don't play that shit. Hey, Qatar don't play that. In this country, there's no pickle on pickle, buddy. We don't crunch our pens together, all right? Which they actually, a lot of times the Arabs will actually, do some man-on-boy stuff. It's weird. I don't know exactly how it goes down, but you don't date. You get your fucking pickle smooched out in a car, but you don't fucking brag about it. That's what you don't do. Anyway, this fucking dickface showed up knew what he was doing. And the security guards go, no, get the fuck, motherfucker. I will give you an Allah Akbar. That's like Allah Akbar judo chop right to your fucking gullet if you even. And he flipped out, and I got to watch progressives show that they really are the imperialists in this day and age. Because the whole, our idea of sexual gender rights and gender identity rights is an excuse that we use to colonize, bomb, and imperialize other countries. And I promise you, it was no different 200, 300, 400 years ago when the British would show up someplace or whatever European country and would say, these people have savage tendencies, and we are going to put an end to it by being savage to them. Their attitudes are archaic and barbaric. The way they worship, their religion is archaic, and it is identical to what the Christian progressives said. That's progressivism is, my neighbor is a savage and I need to cultivate him. He needs to come out of the dark ages. It's always been that, whether it's been religious or non-religious. It's, like the Spanish showed up in Central America and they go, these Aztecs are ripping each other's hearts out. So what are you going to do? We're going to feed them alive to our war dogs. We're going to take their feet and stick them in fires and burn them till they literally have to have their feet amputated. We're going to cut out their entrails and break them on the rack. So you're going to do this? Why? To teach them not to cut people's hearts out, The problem is, not that they're torturing people, but they're not torturing people for Jesus. That's Spain for you, baby. Anyway, dude, one of the best parts of this whole... Actually, I just to clarify this, I saw somebody make a great example for why it doesn't really fly over there. And this is it. In the West, we are Western, Northern culture, especially Anglicized and Germanic and Protestant culture, is obsessed with the idea of individualism, the idea of the individual. I've read some stuff that says it dates back as far as, when German barbarians would go into battle. A lot of times why they'd even lose to the Romans is the Romans would fight as one cohesive unit, whereas the barbarians would go out there and each man was looking for his own personal glory. So they didn't fight in formation. They would go out there and a great warrior would kind of go berserk and make his own scene in the field. But a cohesive unit will always trump a random grouping of individuals. Anyway, that's kind of translated into modern society. I'll be whatever I want to be, whether it be gender or sexuality or whatever, or political ideologies, piercings, tattoos, doesn't matter. Anyway, our culture can handle that type of stuff, whereas in the Middle East, they believe that your life has been preordained by Allah. Allah has gave you this, I got it good there. It's given you this sacred life, so you have been preordained to meet with a woman, mate, and make a family. So the idea of you doing this weirdo, individualist thing that goes against what the divinity has designed for you. If you talk, there's a great line that certain Muslim groups use, which is, "It is written." I love this line, which is fate, which is you do not defy your fate, your ecclesiastic fate. It is written. So you're not gonna fucking do your thing. And a lot of times they let foreigners come and be gay. They're just like, you can't fucking do the flag thing, dude. You can't. It's like, I used to work at a comedy club, and upstairs was a bar, and they said, you can have your little club downstairs, but you can't advertise to our patrons. That's what they're doing. That's all it was. Anyway, best part of the World Cup is the shit talking. Oh, dude, so Argentina played Mexico yesterday. Bro, go on Twitter, and because now Twitter's based because fucking Elon took it. I don't care if you're a whiny little bitch. It's so nice to have Twitter back again where you could just be fucking offensive. Oh my God. Oh yes, I wish I didn't suck at Twitter because I suck at Twitter. I suck fucking so much. I'm the worst at Twitter. Dude, the day Elon took over, it was a carnival of everyone came out. You just had Holocaust jokes. You had rape jokes. You had rape. It was just off the fucking chain, and it was fun, and it was so much fun. And the funny thing were all the people coming on getting mad because I knew they were looking for it. And I always do this because when I was going through my fucking dark gay phase. When I was going through my really depressed phase the past few months, sometimes I go on social media and I do that. And I go, why am I looking for stuff that makes me angry? And I have to remind myself, this is my fault. It's not the person who wrote this tweet's fault. It's my fault because they didn't come to my house and tie me up and then fucking open my eyes and jam a phone in my face and go, look at it. Look at this. Look at this fucking tweet that you don't like. I go, I found this. In fact, I probably searched for something specifically to find it. You know what I started doing? I started unfollowing people who follow and like stuff that I genuinely don't like, which gets me into threads and I'm looking at people fight. And I started thinking, oh, there's this weird thing where in stand-up, you just early on, you follow and friend everyone. All right, and then at a certain point, I'm looking at it and I go, I'm not going to do your bar show again in Lower Manhattan, in the East Village. I don't have to worry about being on good terms with you. I don't have to worry about being on good terms with comedian I don't see anymore. And I just go, oh, I just started unfollowing people. The thing that usually held me back was if they followed me. There's this weird thing in entertainment where if someone follows you, you feel like you gotta. And it's tough. I finally broke it. There's a couple people still following me that I unfollowed because I was like, this ain't good for me and ain't good for you. You know, it's like dating. I'm letting you go. Anyway, Argentina and Mexico. So glad I've been learning Spanish simply for this fact. Argentina played Mexico. Bro, go on Twitter. If you think we shit talk in sports here, dude, American sports are so docile. We don't fight compared to, there aren't giant brawls, which I actually think are good. I know it seems dumb, but I think it makes you tough. I think it's just, as long as no one pulls a weapon, no one did, as long as you're just a group of guys, you know, out and about, and you're just punching each other, having a little old rumble, and it just keeps you level. No one's getting stabbed, no one's getting shot, just group, you know, you come in, you get stitched up, and you go about your day. I really don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's probably pretty good for a populace to, you know, as someone who lost his fucking mojo, it's good to do this stuff so it gets you back. Maybe you get your ass kicked and you go, all right, I'm too old for this. Or but the shit talking we do, other countries, their fans can't sit with other fans, right? For all the shit talking we do about calling soccer gay, let me put it to you like this. If you go to a soccer game in another country, you have to be careful where you sit. I don't have to be careful where I sit in an NFL stadium. I don't have to worry about getting jumped. And someone, you know, even then, you know, being in the outfield as a Yankee or Red Sox fan in either stadium, they boo, I'm going to boo some kids. It's not, bro, it's nothing like out there in the rest of the world. Same time, when they talk shit, it's not, oh, shut up, fuck you, Cleveland. It's like they talk shit. They talk about wars and genocides. Dude, go on Twitter and just type in Argentina, Mexico. Dude, they are going at it. I'm so glad I'm learning Spanish because the Argentinians are out of control. You know how in the U.S. there's this thing where, you know, racism is a thing here and people go, don't be racist. Other countries don't have that. Other countries, there's no one going, hey, don't. There's just like, yeah. I remember this Argentinian girl wrote, oh, we're playing Mexico. Can't wait to let out all my racism today. There was no hiding it. They're just like, yeah, let's fucking do it, man. Dude, the memes were insane. So the Argentinians are all making memes about the Mexicans, calling the Mexicans apes and orangutans and gorillas. Just they keep they're just typing shit like the Mexicans are all black skinned with Indian faces, indigenous faces, and the Argentinians really view the Mexicans as black and not brown because all the memes they're showing memes of people getting chainsawed and screaming by cartel members. Dude, there was a meme someone made up There's a group of students like 5 years ago who got captured, and 48 of them were killed by the police in Mexico, and they burned their bodies. It was a huge thing. Argentinians are making memes about that. They're making showing pictures of people being hung by the cartel. They're joking about it. They're all these super fucking racist memes where they're calling the Mexicans like black. Even they're all make them look jet black, and they're fucking dude. It's fucked up. They're calling them gay. They're saying you spend too much time with the gay Americans. They make fun of the Mexicans, going you're all servants to the gringos, and you think and whenever, dude, there was a good one. Whenever like a Mexican American would say something, they would just put up a picture of Messi kicking the World Trade Center right when it explodes from plane one. And then the Mexicans are drilling the Argentinians, making fun of them for having big noses. I don't know if it's because Argentina got a lot of Italians. Italians can have big noses. Maybe it's because Southern Italians got some Arab influence, like literally genetic and cultural Arab influence in Sicily and Naples, and they tend to have big noses. Semitic people have big noses. Jews, Lebanese, Arabs, they're in the desert, man. There's not enough moisture. They got to get some big schnozzes to get up all that air. Also, air's free. Anyway, oh man, they're gonna get me like Kyrie. Anyway, the Mexicans are putting up memes of the Argentinians, and the memes are all making fun of the Argentinians because they're saying the Argentinians are. Argentina is 98% white. It's tied with Iceland as whitest country in the world. They didn't bring slaves down there. They didn't have the agricultural economy. Southern South America, Argentina, Uruguay, southern Brazil, it's all white. A lot of Italians. There you can find Swiss towns that look like the Swiss Alps in Brazil. You'll find whole German villages where people speak German in southern Brazil. There's a place in southern Brazil where Confederates went to after the Civil War, the U.S. Civil War, where you can find people who speak Portuguese and some English with a southern Dixie accent. It's insane. There's plenty of Germans that went to Argentina where everyone says, oh, there's so many Nazis went there. Not a lot did, but some did. Anyway, the Mexicans are making fun of them because the Argentinians see themselves as the top Latinos. They don't even think they're Latinos. But they're, tanner. They're usually a darker white. They're not white like I am. So the Mexicans are putting up all these memes of Argentinians writing soy blanco on their backs, and they're just a fat brown guy on a computer. Or they show like a goofy brown guy with a shitty mohawk, and he looks in the mirror, and he sees himself as a tall, jacked German with blonde hair. They just keep saying, you're not really white, even though you wish you were, you big-nosed wannabe Nazi fucks. Dude, it's so... And they're trashing Argentina because Argentina's going through massive inflation, and they're being like, how much money does it cost for you to feed your family? Fucking dude, I like that stuff, man. I don't know. I like that fucking mean-spirited shit. Oh, what else did I want to talk about? Tarmo, Florida. Yeah, dude, I mean, the more I've traveled through Latin America, the more you realize that the idea that the U.S. is exceptionally racist is the most ridiculous idea ever. It's just our Western arrogance. Everyone thinks that the U.S. is number one at everything, including racism, and we're not. We're really not. You go, and I can tell you, having traveled through Latin America, there's a racial caste system hierarchy that's been in place for centuries. So Mexicans will say horribly racist shit against black people. I know a black woman who went there and they were screaming slurs out the car as they drove by, all these brown indigenous Mexicans. But then someone who's white, European, Latino will talk shit about them, and then they hate that. And then those white European Latinos don't like it when a white guy like me says something offensive about them. The issue in Latin America is that everyone is throwing shit down at the next group of people further down the ladder. But they hate it when, God forbid, what they give to the person beneath them is they get from someone above them. quote unquote, right? The real issue right now, this article came out about gentrification in Mexico City, and how the tables have turned, and they're complaining that all these gringos are coming down. The person at the most of the mestizos and indigenous people are like, whatever, it doesn't matter. But the people that are mad are the upper class white Latino Mexicans, the Spaniards, because they, for the record, the people in Spain and Portugal look down at all the American Latinos, regardless of their color. They give them a rank, but they look down at all of them. So they're mad because the whiter people are coming in and they're getting priced out. They're mad that there's someone another step above them. They're not top of the pyramid anymore. And they might get even an inkling of treatment that they treat. Because I've the racism and classism down there, oh boy. Not that it's everywhere. I don't want to judge a fucking people. I don't like when people judge my fucking people. What did I write on this piece of paper? Dude, FTX, man. Dude, I don't understand why everyone's so mad about the Elon thing. I really don't. Sorry, I know I just jumped from, but I just think it's fun. Do I like Elon? Not really. I don't trust him. I don't like that he's too into technology in the sense that I feel like he wants to upload human consciousness. I don't like that. I think that leads humanity in the wrong direction. Does Elon piss off all the people that I dislike? Yeah. So fuck it. It would be nice if there was one social media app that could at least tilt in the direction of conservatism that isn't a ridiculous one. I don't have to go on Parlay or Getter or one of those other things. I can just stay on one of the normal ones. Also, it's really not that bad. Also, everyone losing it that he's reinstating people. It's just, if you're an average person, you really shouldn't care about what's happening on Twitter. Also, I don't think Elon's that dumb that he's losing all his money. I'm not going to sit here and talk shit about people who've done greater things than me, usually, unless I think they're genuinely evil, in which I call out their evil. But to sit there and say that Elon's a failure and a chump and a retard is just stupid. He's not. I don't like Barack Obama because I think he advanced the military-industrial complex, and I think he advanced the U.S. in the direction of globalism and gave more power to the CIA and the NSA towards our banking system, basically all the things that I don't like. I think he kicked us in a deeper direction of things I don't like. Do I think he's a great man? Yeah. Not morally great. He bombed a bunch of women and kids, but I'd put him on par with Bush and Clinton and the rest of the fucking, and Reagan and all of them, But to come from what he did and then get to what he did, that took some shit. I'm not going to be like, oh, he's stupid. He's not stupid. He's incredibly intelligent to get where he is. Is Joe Biden goofy now? Yeah, but do I think he had to have some kind of intellect to get to this point in his life? Yeah. All right, I'm not going to pretend that Mike Bain, dude, fucking had to get his life together over the past 3 months, has everything figured out more than all these people. Well, sometimes I do. Wait, hold on. I'm about to fucking trash. Hold on, I got to rethink everything I just said. I think that they know what they're doing, but I think they're doing it for nefarious reasons. Okay, that's what I'll say. That's what I call people out on. So if you're going to be like, hey, I think Elon's being a scumbag, then just say that. But don't be like, Elon couldn't run a company, because clearly he fucking can. And it's a fun time, man. Alex Jones might come back. Dude, Trump had his account opened, but he's like, I'm only going to use my Trump True Social account. Here's the thing. Trump wants so badly to get on Twitter. Trump is just sitting there. Trump is like a heroin junkie who literally is staring at a bag, and he's chewing his fucking lips, and he's gonna break. He has to fucking break, bro. He's got to come back. He can't not do it. And what he does, it's going to be interesting. I want him to start his first tweet with something funny. It's got to be just, a video of I don't know, Trump fucking giving someone a rock bottom superimposed over Stone Cold. It's nice to see fact checking that isn't complete propaganda. For instance, something happened with FTX. Some woman wrote a puff piece about how FTX failed because the people didn't believe in it, right? So FTX was a crypto trading platform. And what happened is everyone put their money in, and the guy was a scumbag, and he had another company that he was leveraging money against. So he took all his money from that. Everyone put it into another thing, stole a bunch of it. Everyone went, hey, I want my money back. Imagine the run on the banks in the Great Depression. And there was no money. There was no fucking money. None. Oh, I went to a weed conference in Vegas. Fuck, I got to save that for later, man, because I'll explain to you guys why I don't ever want to smoke weed again. I got to meet the people in weed, and weed is completely corporate. It's not fun. I went there, and it was a business seminar, man. It was complete. You would have thought these people were all. You would have thought you were at a meeting for H&R Block, not a weed conference, dude. You would have thought you were hanging out with an insurance company, a finance company. That's what you were dealing with. The same corporate bullshit, the same fake corporate attitudes. Same corporate wokeisms, all of it, dude. It was all the same. And then I started. They're making GMO weeds. When they boil down weed to put it in tinctures and foods and to make it into wax, the terpenes come out. So they put in terpenes from different plants, different organic molecules. You're not even getting the original weed stuff. They are doing to it what they did to the food industrial industry. Now there's a weed industrial industry. They're spraying the weed plants with pesticides, and they're only 50% of the same pesticide regulations that they put on like corn. And even that they hardly regulate compared to other countries. So if you're smoking, it was weird. Vegas is a weird place, dude. I stayed in the Trump Tower. Lots of Asians. They didn't mind the China flu. Lots of Asians, conservatives, black conservatives. I saw a Puerto Rican dude with a Veterans for Trump shirt. All the girl I was with who got the reservations, I just came along. It was paid for this company I'm working for. Might be working for a podcast called Marijuana Today, helping them with getting their podcast off the ground because I've got a lot of experience with this as they change ownership. Anyway, that's a great podcast. I know I just shit all over the fucking weed industry. Fuck me. Oh my God, you fucking dumb cunt. Anyway, FTX. FTX, bro. FTX. Man. The Washington Post, I think it was a Washington Post or the Wall Street Journal wrote a puff piece saying that, and the new Twitter employees or the ones that were kept, under their fact checking, it said FTX failed because of corruption, not because of they didn't believe in it. It's kind of, there's something weird going on with FTX because some of that money was funneled into Ukraine. Some of it was funneled through political donations, primarily. I don't know if it was exclusively Democrats, but it was at least primarily them. And CNN and a lot of news channels and newspapers have really kind of gotten a bat for this guy whose name I don't remember, who runs FTX. This guy should be in prison. He's basically a Bernie Madoff, but they're really taking care of him. There's a lot of, look into that. Trust me, there's a rabbit hole you can go down. Anyway, I got to answer these questions. Oh, hi, Mike. I found out that my son is stealing from me. Uh-oh. My son has been using my credit card or my debit card, not my credit, my debit card to purchase online game accessories and online stuff, online video, all video game related stuff. For the record, I know when I read these, I sound really awful, but a lot of times I'm reading these in a way to give some anonymity to the person writing them, because these are people who usually are somewhat familiar with me, and they don't always leave stuff out. So my son used my debit card to purchase online game accessories and online games, and I'm trying to figure out how to punish him. I would continually talk with him about how I was having to deal with credit card and debit card fraud, and then he would, hug me and say, "Mommy, we're going to get through this." Oh, that's rough. That's rough. He's 12 years old. Ooh, pretty avid little guy for a 12-year-old, Going on 13. He's almost a teenager. But that's, oof. His father, my ex, doesn't think it's a big deal. Thinks that I should have better hidden my cards, and that the blame, primarily on me, thinks I'm being way too harsh. I am completely grounding him for months away from his computer and all video games. Am I being too harsh? I know he's going to hate me if I do this to him, but I feel like I have to punish him. Yes, you do. You absolutely, your ex is a fucking bitch for not helping you punish your son. Your son's going to be really mad at you. I get that. It's not fun being the disciplinarian. I really totally understand that. That's not a fun thing. But if you don't punish him, you're going to set a precedent that this kind of behavior is okay. And when I know it always hurts most because it's family, when someone from family steals from you. But when you're a child, you don't really have access to other people. So I remember my little brother stealing money from me, that I left out and I flipped out. But who's my little brother going to steal money from? He can't walk in other people's houses. He's not breaking in yet. But in my opinion, when you see this kind of behavior, you stomp it the fuck out. There is a old saying, and the saying goes like this. How do I phrase this? It's would you rather be a leader who is a good leader but hated, or a leader who is a bad leader and loved? I would go for the hated good leader, personally, because it depends on what you feel about it. If you loved your country, you want to be the good leader. If you don't care about the country you're ruling, you want to be the loved leader. Now, if this is your family, you want to be hated. You don't want to be hated, but you want to. Your kids are going to. I've learned so much. There were things I really couldn't stand growing up as a kid that I really had a ton of resentment over. And I look back on it now and I realize that my father was trying to prep me for the world. And that if he hadn't done that, I wouldn't have made it. There's a scene in the movie Glory where the 54th Regiment, it's all black regiment, first all black regiment, they're being trained, and there's an Irish drill sergeant who's being ruthless on them. They're fighting for the Union against the Confederacy in the Civil War, and he's training the guy who's like, he's a black nerd. He went to law school, and he's like, bayonet me. And the guy tries to, and he takes his gun, dodges from the bayonet, fucking smashes him in the face. He falls down, breaks his glass, and the guy's like, ooh. And the leader of the regiment, I don't know what his rank is, Shaw, I know his name, he says to the drill sergeant, "You have to be so hard on him." And the drill sergeant says, "Permission to speak freely?" And he goes, "Sure." And he goes, "Is he your friend?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "Let him fail. You have to do this." And later on in the movie, there's a scene where they get into battle, and a Confederate soldier tries to bayonet this same previously nerdy black soldier. And he does exactly to the Confederate what the Irish drill sergeant did to him. sometimes in the moment they're going to hate you for what you have to do. But if you love them and you want to do your job, which is your job is to make them a better human being, you have to do something, because it starts with you, and then if you let it go, it's just going to spread. And then he's just stealing from other people, and other people are not going to be as nice as you are. Being a parent is fucking tough. I have so much respect for parents having to watch my cousin's kids. It gets tough, and I have so much respect. And you gotta come down on them, and realize what you can do to do better so that it doesn't happen again. But you gotta come down on him. I know he's gonna hate you, but you trust me. Your ex is going to be the good parent, and your son is probably going to look at you as a fucking hard ass, but your ex is taking the easy way out and is being a shit parent. I think I can say that based on what I've read here. So if he's undermining disciplining your son, then you have a problem. Because he just wants to be loved, and he doesn't want to be a good father. And that's how you often meet people who have problems later in life. Fuck God, I got plenty of problems. But sometimes you meet someone and you go, oh, they might have a good relationship with their parent, but to a degree, but they're still fucked up. Their parent didn't do their job. And oftentimes you end up resenting those parents. Over time, the parent who was drinking or doing drugs with their kid, who was the cool parent, their kids grow up to resent them for not giving them discipline, for not helping them. After this whole thing, I really learned to respect my father, because a lot of what he did, even though I was mad in the moment, sometimes I bring it up as like a really tough thing. Like I remember running from a fight, and my dad could have been better about this, but ran from a fight in a playground from some project kids, and they were a different race than me, which made it a lot worse in his eyes. And he goes, "You're going to let them punk you in your fucking neighborhood?" He made me go back into the playground, and they tormented me. And he said, "If you had an issue, you could have come to me, but you ran." And I found them. He saw me running and 3 DACA kids chasing me out of the playground. He sent our family's Rottweiler after him, and he said, "You're not sitting in the car with me. You're going to go back in there, and you're going to deal with it." And for years, I couldn't stand him for it. What really bothered me was that on the ride home, he said, he was embarrassed and ashamed that I was his son. And then called his friends to tell him about how I pushed out. That made me mad. That part didn't need to happen. But hey, you got to go back in there and face the music part. You don't get to run from a fight. Because in the real world, sometimes you don't get to run from a fight. You got to go have your fucking fight. And that, fucking helped me get through some of the shit I just went through over the last few months. So, yeah, just within reason. You'll, as Marcus Aurelius says, do it, and I take this for everything. He said, stop worrying about being a good person and be a good person. Stop worrying about being a good parent and be a good parent. He said, he said, do what is right because you know what is right. Don't do what is wrong because you know what is wrong. You know what's right. You know what's wrong. You know inside. There's a little voice in there that's going to tell you this is the right thing to do. This is the wrong thing to do. You'll know. And the detractions are usually other voices in your head coming from outside sources. It's usually you thinking about what other people would say, how you'll be perceived, how your son will feel about you. You know what you got to do. You got to fucking let him know that this sort of shit ain't fucking flying. Not in this house, motherfucker. All right, I think I got time for one more. All right. Hey, Mike, I need to leave my job. All right. I'm very upset with my job. I work in sales, and I'm not happy. Okay? I honestly would really just like to quit and work for an arborist. All right. I don't know if he wants to chop down trees or just... I would really like to work with plants and nature, and all right, but I'm having a hard time leaving my job. I'm down on myself because I'm worried that if I leave, I won't earn enough. And I'm worried that I'm in my mid-30s, and I'm worried that if I leave, I won't be able to find new work. Well, that I can't start over, and then I'm too late in life to start over. Oh, buddy, no, you're not. Bro, you're talking to the fellow who's completely, dude, I'm rusty as fuck at podcasts and at stand-up and all this. And it used to be back in the day, everyone said that if you take a break from creativity, you're done. What I mean is, I was told by comedians, if you take a break, you're done. You'll lose it. You know, if you fucking do, Tyson Fury took a break, came back, fucking boom, boom, bam. Thank you, ma'am. Champion of the fucking world, heavyweight bitch. You're not too old to start over. If you're not happy with what you're doing, leave. And don't ever be ashamed to pursue. So I've been asked of me a couple times where someone said, hey, I want to do this other job, and I'm afraid what people are going to say. Dude, who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? I don't give a fuck if you quit your job to go clean elephant balls. I don't care if you're like, hey, I just want to get a hose and spray elephant balls, get all that fucking elephant dookie off his ball bag. I'm going to douche elephants. Do you want to douche elephants? Well, yeah. Then go douche elephants. It doesn't matter, dude. Do what you want to do. All right? If you're not happy with what you're doing, if it's stressing you out, if it's taking up too much time, don't fucking do it. Don't do it. If you want to leave, fucking leave. All right? It's never, dude, I'm starting over after everything. This is me finally starting over. And I mean starting over not just after these few months since my father's passing and me getting very sick, because I still haven't really attained all my energy. I don't know if I got this, what I got, you know, if I got the Wuhan special or, Wuhan 3.0, I don't fucking know. If I got a nice Lyme disease, COVID mix, whatever. But I mean starting over in the sense that I'm picking up where I left off before COVID, when I was really on my shit. Because it's over. COVID's over. And I've kind of hung around longer than I needed to, waiting to get back into how I reapply myself. And I can't reapply myself the way I did because I'm not that person anymore. I'm not going to go back to New York City and live in an apartment with 4 fucking strangers. Not at this stage of my life. I'm not going to go back to being a single, lonely guy smashing every piece of cunt I can in the city. You know? Things have changed. You know, I want corny shit. I want peace and quiet, but I still want adventures. You know? So, what I'm talking about me, bro. I'm supposed to be talking about you. Arrogant fuck Mike Bain. Bro, quit your fucking job. Quit your fucking sales job. Also, you can do sales anywhere. If you don't like whatever it is that you're selling, all right, find something else to sell. Maybe you sell blinds. Remember Blinds to Go? You go to people's houses and you sell blinds. That you're fighting with someone to get something they don't necessarily think they need. What if you were to sell fucking jet skis? All right, then you're just selling something for people with money who know they want to buy something. It's not... You know, they've come in there making a decision. Well, I definitely want to buy a motorcycle or a jet ski. And you go, well, fuck, come over here, buddy. I'll fucking show you how you fuck all the bitches on this jet ski. Get on this jet ski, dude. You'll big dick up and down the lake. You'll be the king kahuna. Big tuna, motherfucker. Get over here. Sell that shit to them. Sell people stuff they need. Or sell corporate. See, I used to never want to do sales because I felt bad about the idea about taking some old woman's pension money. Get in sales and fuck these companies, dude. Sell shit to rich people. Fuck them. Sell shit to these corporations who have all this money that they have to spend. Get in that type of sales. Because there's no morality in it. There's no, I feel bad about selling, units or whatever to, Crooked Dick Incorporated. I don't know. Whatever they're called, you just, you don't have to feel bad about selling it to some company. It's different. It's a mom and pop, but you get into that kind of sales. Dude, go climb your trees. Go fucking play with rutabaga bushes. I don't know. But do what makes you happy. If you're not happy, leave. Whether it's a relationship or a job, just fucking leave. All right? It's not, the fear's good. The fear's not a bad thing for you, buddy. It's a healthy thing. It's healthy. It's healthy. Now go out there and conquer that. Dude, all right, you just reminded me of something. If you're still with me, bro, I'll get into more of this. When I was in Ecuador, it's all funny. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, but I got in one big fight with my girl. We didn't talk to each other the whole fucking night fight. And then we slowly made up the next day. And while it was happening, I was like, I kind of want to punch her in the fucking face. And then I did. I wasn't going to do it, but I wanted to. And then I started talking to all my friends that are married. And I go, hey, how do you guys do this? I'm literally in this Airbnb, this beautiful Airbnb that I got for the two of us for a fucking deal ski. And she's mad at me over something. It was nothing. And they go, dude, I have to fight to not choke my wife. And I remembered Chris Rock's from an old special where he said, you have never been in love until you've held a knife in your hand. And the only thing that kept you from killing your spouse was it was an episode of CSI. And this is women and men. I think women, you want to sometimes kill us too. I think we all do. I think there are moments where you look at your spouse and you go, I want to fucking just, not the fun bedtime choke, not the kinky sex choke, the fucking, like when you're looking like, oh, I'm going to die, that kind of fucking choke. And I joked with her. I said, hey, I told my family on Thanksgiving that we had a good trip together except for that big, giant fight, And she goes, yeah, she laughed. She was a good sport. She goes, yeah, we just had that big fight and all those little fights. And I go, what little fights? She goes, what? I go, what little fights? I thought we just had the big fight and then everything was fine. She goes, oh, well, just we didn't. She goes, she pretended like she didn't. I know fucking what she was doing. She tried to play it off. She goes, didn't we have some other fights? No? Oh, man, I don't remember. I just don't remember fights after and I go, you fucking fraud. You've been holding some little shit against me and you didn't fucking say anything. And she's going, oh, no, I don't remember any other fights now. No, let me think. No, I don't think. There was the snail thing. We went out at night, and she told me not to pick up the snails, and I picked up the snails. And then someone walked by and in Spanish said, don't touch the bugs. There were all these snails in this city of Cuenca, in the old, beautiful city, best city in Ecuador. Quito sucks, Guayaquil sucks, whatever. I don't fucking care. They suck. They're dangerous. I couldn't go out at night, okay? That's how dangerous they were. And there are these snails, and she goes, don't touch the snails. They're getting stepped on, man. I didn't want to leave the snails, so I pick them up. I got a little snail juice on my fingers, and they start to tingle. And she goes, they're fucking poisonous. And I go, she goes, why didn't you listen to me? And I was like, what? I figured my lesson had been learned. She thought that was a little fight. Now she's like, oh, we didn't have any fights. I didn't have any fights. Oh, man. She was like, I just don't hold grudges. And I'm like, you fucking fraud. You phony. You don't hold grudges, but you remember the little fights? The funny part about trying to date, man, is sometimes the person you're with is mad at you and you don't even know. I don't fucking care. It is what it is. I'm going to still get mines. Speaking of which, I will probably be... I don't know how often I'm going to be able to keep putting these up, guys. I'm going to try and do them whenever I can. Next interview, I met this guy while I was traveling in Ecuador who was biking. I don't know why I just said bike packing. He was biking from Canada to Peru. And he been doing it for months. Quit his job to live on a sailboat. Awesome guy, interesting guy, great story. I got to have a lot of adventures like that. Anyway, I'm probably going to be at least living in South America because it's getting very expensive to heat my place in New Hampshire. As I started working and doing shows again, as I'm getting my fucking mojo back, my family's house that I grew up in is falling apart, and my mom is going to use, I don't know, you guys need to know this, but let's just say that anything she got left over from my dad from 401k is being used to, that doesn't matter. She's fixing the home for months, so I won't be here. So I'm going to just try it, man. I'm going to try go doing something new, learn a new language, and I know what I got to do. It's no sitting around for Mike Bain anymore. Just like it's no sitting around for you anymore, buddy, with your sales job. Go do what you want to do. If it's not happy, try the other thing. And you're like, I know you're thinking, maybe that won't make me happy. Well, maybe it doesn't. Get a new fucking job. Come back to sales. Bro, they're hiring everywhere. You can do it. You're gonna be okay. I promise you. And here's something I had to remind myself because I got pissed off and frustrated on my trip a few times. The happiness, in your relationships, all right? I'm going to guess you're with a girl because you wouldn't be this, you get a lot stressed out when you have a family at hand. Maybe you get some kids. But if you're working something you hate that makes you miserable, it's going to trickle down onto your family. So don't fucking do that. Don't do that, man. So if you were to make less money and be happy, if you do it, so sometimes on the trip I would ask my girl when I was stressed out, what do you want to do? And she doesn't like making decisions. Nor should she. She's the woman. That's my job. I was very stressed out. Very stressed out trying to get us moved safely around this country. So here's what I have to do. I would go, hey, do you want to do this? And I had to realize that at the end of the day, I brought us to a beach for the last week, and she just wanted to go to Sunny Beach. It was literally nonstop overcast every day, which I loved. She didn't, but I had to go be like, hey, is it okay? Is it okay with you? But I had to remember, if I'm happy and having a great time and being loving and joyous, it'll trickle down into her. If we go to a place that she likes and I'm a miserable cunt, I'm going to ruin everything. You're the fucking man, buddy. You're the energy focal point. You're the top dog. Just like you want to be the good leader, I don't think that you always have to be hated. That's why that old phrase, I think, is a shit phrase. Because I think when you do the good things to be a good leader, eventually, as you know you're doing the right thing, it'll be reflective upon the people. Whether it's your family or your nation, whoever, or your woman, whoever you're leading. Don't be afraid, man. I don't know if it's too late in the podcast to share this. Maybe I should just save this for the next one. Because it's a good story. Fuck it. All right, I'm gonna close it up here. I don't want to go too long. We've already gone long enough. I'll save it. I climbed a volcano in Ecuador. I almost fell off a fucking mountain. It was terrifying. I'm gonna do a whole thing about fear because all right, I gotta save it. I'm sorry. Dude, it was fucking wild. Fucking 3 days hiking into the fucking out there in the Andes, up a fucking volcano to a volcano lake. Almost died. It was, oh God, I'm getting shivers thinking about it. Anyway, get on Twitter, put out a dick pic, call someone a fucking slur, get on, bro, quit your sales job, and then make a tweet and go, my boss is a fucking pink dick honky. Dude, make a fucking, I don't know, go. There's a new era coming in. There's a new energy coming into the playing field. And that energy is, I'm going to be who I want. I'm going to say what I want. I'm going to do what I fucking want. I'm going to tell you guys something I just realized. I've mentioned this before, but I put my career on a pedestal. And you can't put things on pedestals because you go after them too much. And if you put something on a pedestal, let's imagine there's a woman you like, and you go, hey, I want that girl. She's my dream girl. You're going to be so willing to get her and please her that you're going to destroy your game as a man. You're going to destroy your game. And you're going to come off desperate because I want this girl so bad. I'll do whatever. I'll bring her to the airport even though she hasn't played with my pickle. I've been saying pickle a lot. Pekka. She hasn't sucked my dick. Dude, don't be bringing bitches to the airport who haven't fucked you. And so you'll do stuff because she's your dream girl and you put her on a pedestal and you're not treating her the way you would normal girls that you would get. You're idolizing her. If you do that to something in your life too, if you do that to a career where I used to take comedy shows where I wasn't getting paid or I wasn't getting treated well, I don't do that shit anymore. Now, I read something very important in this book I found it in like a Take a Book place randomly near my house, and then it was written by an Ecuadorian, and I'm reading it in Ecuador, and the book is about, the guy says I gotta talk to you guys about The Alchemist, another book. All right, so the guy says, I have so much to say. I'm sorry. I'm exploding. It's been a while, guys. I missed you. I really did. It's good to be back. And the guy said, the more you let go of something you love, sometimes the more likely it is to come to you. If you appear desperate in whatever field you're in, like there's a difference between I'm a hard worker and I'm desperate. It kind of shows. Dude, one of my bookers, out of the blue, started paying me a third more. I'm getting a third. Well, no, technically it was 50% more of what I was getting because I stopped taking shows. And I just stopped taking shows because I just was like, fuck it, man. I got life. I got to focus on this life. I got family, and I just, was out. Oh man, I gotta talk about spreading my dad's ashes and my dog's ashes. Oh shit, man. I suck. I'm teasing. I dumped I accidentally dumped my dad's ashes on some people on a mountain. Anyway, story for another I'm sorry. Next time. It's going too long. Anyway, whatever it is that you want, all right, sometimes you're going to let go of it to get it. It sounds so weird. But it's kind of like fishing. And sometimes you let back slack on the rod. You don't just sit there and crank it the whole fucking time. You don't, sometimes then a little slack and you pull it. A little slack and you pull it. Don't be desperate, because you will allow the thing that you want to dominate you, and you might also end up resenting it. The woman, the man, your career, the perfect whatever, the thing that you have on a pedestal. It's good to want shit. It's good to go for shit. But I put a lot of things on pedestals before, and I'm realizing now that in doing so, whether it was my social media or my stand-up, all of it, I put all of it on pedestals, and I got desperate. And the important thing is to realize I'm enough without this. Okay, I'm enough without this. And if I'm enough without this, and I'm happy and I'm at peace without this, then this is just extra. Because if I'm not whole without this, then I'm going to go at this in a very weird way. I watched a lot of people on social media acting very desperate. And I look at their content and I go, dude, how desperate are you for views? What are you doing? And I go, I don't want to be that dude. I want to be that guy who does this at shows. I don't want to be that guy to the people I love. Just like how before you make a relationship work, you got to be good on you. So go do your fucking Aubrey job. I don't know if that's a real word. Whatever you want to fucking do it, buddy. And dude, if you don't like what you're doing, fucking quit. I know I'm saying that a lot, but just fucking quit. Just quit, bro. Just quit. All right? You will, unless, the only way you can't quit is if you're living paycheck to paycheck. If you got family, dude, go fucking move back home with your parents. I don't care how old you are. There's no shame in it. That's what family are for. Help you get back up. You want to be a good whatever you are? Do what you want to fucking do. Anyway, peace, guys. I'll talk to you more about the adventures. I get a lot to say, and wow, I didn't realize how much I've been holding. It's been a while, but I thank you all. I appreciate it. I'll have some more interviews. The podcast is going to keep going. It just won't be as regular as I tackle so many projects. Like, Michael, shut up. You've been saying that a lot. But things are happening. And for real this time. I'm telling you. I'm back, bitch. And we're all back. The world's back. Some of us never left, but okay, I'll end with this. I realized I kept waiting to get back to who I was before COVID and all this trauma I experienced and all that. And sometimes in life, traumatic shit happens to you and you change. And that's okay. If you break your arm might never heal back the same way it was before. It's just different now. And if you experience something horrifically traumatic, it changes your brain. It does. It literally changes it. And I think a lot of us have been through trauma in our lives. I think if you listen to this, you probably have. Last couple of years were a fucking mess. There's still a mess. It still is. So it's never-ending kind of trauma. And you go, when are things going to go back? I see so much nostalgia, so much of people going, man, if I could just go back to the 90s. Unless there's an EMP that breaks all this shit or a new law, a president who bans social media, we're not going back anytime soon. So, own your change. Be like, hey, it's okay that I've changed. You can't be what you were. So, if you outgrow something, your sales job, your old methods of parenting, whatever it is, your relationships, be the new you, baby. Be the new you and be the best goddamn new fucking you can be. That's what matters. Anyway, get your act together. Happy Thanksgiving. Early Merry Christmas. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. I appreciate all of you. And, there will be more funny stuff to go as I go. You know the deal. All right? Fucking peace. Peace and love. There we go. I don't care. I'm going to end on this gay note. Peace and love, motherfucker. Deuces.